it was a lot of older guys, and it was all the younger guys was like, we're not riding around with them guys riding Harleys. You know what I mean? All the younger guys wanted to be on Jap bikes. And we started out on them, but once it switched over to Harleys and they seen what we was all riding cruisers, it was.
Welcome to this episode of Chattin with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got the National of the THUNDERGUARDS MC, John. What's up, man?
How's it going, bro?
Things are great. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate you taking the time.
Not a problem.
You have an insane story. Before we get started, where were you born and raised?
I was born and raised in Wilmington, Delaware.
Wilmington, and that's the birthplace of the THUNDERGUARDS MC.
That is
1965, right?
correct.
Yeah. And what was your early life like?
Average guy growing up in the hood. Kid growing up in the hood. It was average.
Was there like clubs around your area at that time?
Yeah, there were a few, but the dominating club was actually the Thunderguards. They were the dominating club back in '65. And still are today.
Yeah, they're pretty well known.
Yeah.
So did you see them around the area when you were younger a lot?
Well, I was young. I was about 15. I started dating a lady, and actually her uncle was the founder. And I winded up with 3 kids by the lady. My oldest 3 children are by her. And so I got to be around the founder a lot. As I grew older, I had some of my best friends in there and family as well. So, yeah, spent a lot of time with him, a lot of time around.
Did you ever talk to the founder about why he chose to create this club?
Never did. It was just a bunch of guys. We've all talked to him a little bit, but the stories was it's just a bunch of guys that were around, and they were actually all riding one day. They pulled over, and then they heard the rest of the bikes coming. They were looking for a name for their club, and they said that sounded like thunder, and that's how they winded up with the Thunderguards. It's from what I've been told. I wasn't here when it started. I wasn't but 3 when they started this.
You got to hang around with the person who created it, so that's pretty iconic.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people get to do that.
No. It was actually a family. It was some, family. A lot of family members when they first started.
Like when you were younger and you got introduced to this club, how many people were involved with it back then?
When I first got introduced to it, when I came in, it was about 12 chapters.
Yeah. That's pretty sizable, though.
Yeah, it was good. They, but it was a lot of older guys, and it was all the younger guys was like, we're not riding around with them guys riding Harleys. All the younger guys wanted to be on Jap bikes, and we started out on them, but once it switched over to Harleys and they seen what we was all riding cruisers, it was.
So when you first start coming around, your kid's mother, do you have a motorcycle already? Or are you already riding?
Like I said, I was 15 at that time, but I was riding since I was about 10. I was the one that my brothers all had mini bikes, and they would sit me on them and send me down the hill, pulling the cable with my hand. You know what I mean? It's like you can make it go faster if you pull the cable. Like they used to bet, bet each other's bike, and I was the one that had to ride it down the hill because I was the lightest. I could go the fastest. So
yeah,
they strapped me on it, sent me down the hills.
So what was your first bike that you got for your own?
754. 754 was my first bike as actual motorcycle, other than mini bikes and scooters and all that. I mean, I had it all: mini bike, the scooter, the moped, all of it.
And you said your first uh motorcycles were like street bikes and stuff, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So when did you like, I'm gonna start riding a bike? And are you, when you first come in contact with this club, are you like curious about it and you wanting to be involved with it? Like, how did that transpire?
I had family in there, you know what I mean? Uh, Thunderguards was open all night, and we used to party there all night. You know, like I said, one of my best friends was one of the high-ranking members in there. He's gone now, bless his soul, Bruce Cherry, and he was also my sponsor. He, me and him would ride a lot together, and he kept saying, "You may as well just come on in. You may as well just." And I was like, "Nah, I don't got time for it." And eventually, he pulled me across, you know, and I was on the Jap bike when I came in, and we took a long ride. We left and went from Wilmington, Delaware to Omaha, Nebraska, and about 200 miles from Omaha, I caught a flat tire.
It's
And
a
his
long
bike,
ride.
yeah, his bike was in the trailer. And he said, "Finish the ride." And I said, "I want to finish the ride." He said, "Pull my bike out and ride it." So he had a Harley. So the last 200 miles I rode on a Harley. And when we left Omaha, I got back home. I sold my Jap bike, my trailer, and everything, and went and brought me a Harley.
No,
And
because you
back
were
on.
like,
Yeah,
nah, I need
I'm
one of
done.
these.
Yeah, I'm done with the Jap bikes. I grew up right then, you know.
So it really like stuck with you when you first experienced the Harley, right?
Yeah. I had rode them before, but for like short times. I, just around the block and stuff like that, but never, I mean, got it out on the highway.
What do
Got
you think the differences are of the with the Jap bike and the Harley? What were the differences to you?
Well, one of the differences was on the Jap bike. It doesn't matter where you go. It's always somebody pulling up and trying to prove themselves. You know, what I mean, wanting to race you, wanting to whatever. And 90, I guess 99% of them look the same, you know.
Yeah,
But the Harley, you could buy a different Harley, and you could make it your own. So, and I like that. I like the fact that I could make that my bike. You know what I mean? By what I added or didn't, colors or whatever. And that's what I fell into, making it my own. And the fact that I didn't have to race at every corner.
and it's not
Not
comfortable, right? Riding
yeah,
a Jap bike.
yeah, I can't ride a jet bike. I just can't. I can't do it.
You retired it right there, huh?
Yeah, I retired it right there. I ain't been back. I ain't going back.
So now, when you get involved with this club, do you have to prospect?
Yes.
And what's the prospecting period like?
Well, the it all depends on who you're with in the club. I'll say that. I mean, you're a prospect for the whole nation, but it's all on who you're with. And these guys in the beginning, it was all men, and they were trying to teach you other things other than other than the dumb stuff. They wanted to teach you the culture. They wanted to teach you how to ride. I mean, a lot of people get in and don't really know how to ride. So they want to teach you how to ride, the culture, and about the history of the club. Being a prospect just didn't mean going to the store and getting them a pack of cigarettes or some beer or something like that. I mean, later on, once the club really started getting a lot of members, it seems like that what it turned into. A lot of people just using you to go do dumb stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watch the bikes and stuff
Watch
like
the
that.
bikes, wash the bikes, a few other things.
Yeah, come to this party, but you ain't partying. You're
Yeah,
sitting
exactly.
outside, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. What's it like when you finally get your patch?
Bro, only thing that I could think of that was better than me getting the patch was having my child. Just seeing my child come into this world. Getting my patch meant everything to me back then.
What year was that?
2000, I believe it was 2001 when I came in.
It's quite a bit ago. That's 26 years, 24 years.
Yeah.
24 years.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
And that's when I came in. I was around them a lot longer, Before that, I was around them all the time. Like I said, I rode with them and everything before I ever came in.
Now, what's some of the longest rides you've been on?